Hello and welcome to the Crafsman Show. My name is your host, the Crafsman. What the dog barking at? Y'all know Crafsman likes toys. Okay, I have to say that every time because it might be a new person watching today. If so, hello new person. Welcome to this channel. We have been going crazy with soft vinyl and toy productions in general. So Crafsman's got like bunches of blank vinyl. Like I said, see, we got little details and features and things, but like here's our Astro Trunk figure that is just kind of like a blank. But look at what just some color will do to it. Am I in the shot? Thank you, sweetheart. Look at, like, to me that's like dramatic. Yeah, I really agree with something Buana Spoon said right here, said about paint.
When I get a toy from the factory, it's fun, it's beautiful, and it's blank. And then as soon as I put paint on it, it feels like it's alive. I can visualize it existing in a world.
I agree with that right there, what he said. But it's easier said than done to paint these things. So that means it's time to make some paint mix. Paint mix. Of course, you know, we can come in here with some masking tape and just kind of do and just, let's say, mask it off. Quick and rough example, but you know, in the past I'll just tape it off. But I want to do bukudas of these, and how do we sprayed that, let's pretend. Now how do we transfer? See, already manipulating it just mangles it all to there is a solution, is what I'm telling you. The solution that's been used for decades is metal paint mask. Metal paint masks are actually made using a similar electroforming process that the molds use. And that's why these things can often cost as much or a lot more than a toy mold. There's nothing really automated about the toy paint mask making process. It's very, very hands-on and definitely requires an artistic touch. And still requires a good bit of hand cleanup in the end. I thought, what if instead of using masking tape, we use metal, aluminum foil? It's malleable, you can bend it, and already, this is what inspired me. Aluminum foil was kind of like, to use, I don't know, inappropriate terminology, was a gateway drug that got me into crafting. I built my first little men out of aluminum foil. I built my first airplanes out of aluminum foil. I built my first everything out of aluminum foil. The problem, as you can already tell, oopsie daisies, no structure. The solution is super glue and maybe some accelerator, or if not, or baking soda. We're not going to overthink it. We aluminum foil's cheap, right? Correct? We're going to just go ahead and lay us on some aluminum foil. I make my vinyl in various softnicities, like this one's a little softer right there. What I would suggest is either you make sure it's the exact shape you need, fill it with hard resin or something to make it solid, or what I'm going to do is just use a very hard plastisol or vinyl. I got me a little leather sand bag right there. This is kind of like for chasing metal and tooling thin metals. You don't have to have this, but what I thought is we just stick our object down, and then we just go to town putting foil around it. You've got options as far as aluminum foil. You got the everyday, you know, and you got the heavy duty. Crafsman actually has some centerfoil. It's extra thick. It's designed for film stuff and whatnot. But That's what I'm going to use. Probably, this is probably your best recommendation. Middle of the road, conforms and is a little bit on the tough side. This is going to be an eye mask for a vinyl kitty cat head. So I'm going to focus my attention around the eyeballs. Now just because I've stuck my finger in it, indented it, does not mean it's conformed. What I do is, I use a various of ball tools. And you want to sort of chase the metal from the point of interest outwards. The idea is just to keep working the metal, working it until it conforms to the surface. All right. This part's extra important, okay? We're gonna go real fine here in a minute on these ball tools, but I'm gonna go ahead and make us a nice little flange. And we're going to do that by crumpling to the point that by the time we flangify, crumple it out, that it literally will just like hold that shape like that. You want a nice flange around that, okay? And you can make it even, it's okay. It doesn't matter if it's crooked, but yeah. And finally, once you have a good layer, now go ahead and put you a second layer, okay? This is gonna be the key to it right here. And like Henry VIII, I am is the second verse, same as the first. We just take our time, work around the points of interest, and build up our flange. Once you've got your area of interest focused in and all the details pressed in nice and good around it, what we're going to do is carefully start the process of gluing this using capillary action, capillary action. How do you say this word right here? Right there. That word. I'm just going to continue to say capillary. Capillary. We basically want glue in between these two layers. That's the idea. That's what makes this whole thing structural. But what you want to be careful of is make sure you don't have any, like if you have tears, like I tore underneath the nose, I don't want to glue there just yet. I want to kind of keep it focused on the outside. Might add you some accelerator. Might add you some baking soda right here. That's going to help bulk it up anyway. And then eventually you want to carefully lift away. And then we want to focus on our areas of interest with the glue and reinforcing that. We want to have glue all layered up in here, but we don't want it to pool and create lumps on the inside. No. Keep this smooth, okay? That's the process. And then we go to a finer ball tool, finer. Yeah. And I'm just getting way into that crevice. Creases, get it nice and press. All right, see that? Yeah, that's the kind of conformity we want right there. Now this next part is going to be one of the most important of the whole process, because just like with the band U2, the most important part of a paint mask is edge. We need to focus on making our edge extremely clean. I'm literally just showing you, I'm using the X-Acto. This is not what, Grandpa would recommend. Preferentially, you might want to use like a jeweler's style. Yeah. But what I'm doing is I'm cutting a little bit inside of our line, okay? I'm giving us a little extra because then what I like to do is to use abrasion and sanding to really refine that edge. I also like some super glue to soak in the edges around the critical points before we grind it and work it too much. Otherwise we might bend the edge. We want a nice, rigid, crispy edge.
While we let that dry, I wanted to remind y'all about our web shop. We have many items to choose from, all packaged by my wife right here at Steady Crafting Workshop. And if you want to see Steady Crafting keep going, please consider supporting us on Patreon or Coffee. The logo is a coffee cup.
If you're comfortable with it, you can use a rotary tool. But please remember to wear your dust mask, all right? What I do is I take, and I'm doing a little, like, pulling. And you know how, like, if you sharpen a knife, you get a wire edge? You'll feel that there's an edge that probably you need to sand it down or smooth it. But be very careful not to go too far, all right? So we've got a set of masks, we've got some blank vinyl, but as they say, the proof is in the pudding. Oh no, the paint. I thought that was kind of clever in a way. Oh, let's spray paint some of these things. Now you might be wondering, Crafsman, how did you get that one? With the wraparound helmet, I mean. Okay, well, the way I did that was, it's super bonus time. I took some green stuff. I put some petroleum jelly on my object as a release agent, mushed down the green stuff into our details, added an aluminum around it. See there? That takes up the bulk of our green stuff. And look at that, we got us a nice rigid mask. Combine techniques. Don't be afraid to experiment. And just to show you how tough these masks can be, I decided I'm remaking this one anyway, so I'm gonna cut it. Look at this. Look at that. They can withstand quite the forces, so you can cut them, grind them. The biggest thing is to take your time with it. Here's one that to me it turned out a little too soft, the detail wise, so I made another mask. It was a little soft to my liking, had a little bit of overspray, so look at that one. That one's tighter, I think. My recommendation is to not necessarily think you have to hit like to the line, to the crease, but you might even imagine inside of that. It makes me think of something my buddy Theo Kane said one time about, like, when you get toys from the factory, paint jobs, they kind of like slightly offset or intentionally, shrunk down stylistically. If you look at the way toys from factories come with tampography or mask spray, they have a little bit of an offset sometimes, which can be kind of charming. But you can make it as accurate as you absolutely want to. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it and comment and share. Algorithms and all that stuff. Man, it's hard out here for YouTubers, huh? Ain't it? Yeah? YouTubers? Yeah. Until next time, I love y'all. And keep on steady crafting. All right. I think, in my humble opinion, I submit this to the board today for review. Super glue. Oh, is that right? Is that on focus? Okay. Super glue. But I had this crazy idea because I'm always getting crazy ideas coming to me into my mind. I'm not scripting the video today, sorry. I never script any of my videos. But I had an idea come into my mind about aluminum foil. The goal is to create a mask that is literally just a clean fits to it. It's going to be such a nice, once we get this going, I hope, spoiler alert, I've already made one of these, but haha, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Look, what? We're going to glue this thing. I'm going to cut that. Bye. Just running my mouth. I need to script it. I need somebody to script my scripts for me. Script my script. Supervise me, please. All right.